My mum did end up reading my first book, which is very good. Love it. But I think I need to Google some questions. I think I saw on Instagram some girl had like a list of questions to ask your beta readers. Because it really does feel like a mum came to me and she's like, so when are you getting published? Which is obviously a really good thing. And she had a few points about what it's like, and obviously there's an understanding of the things she likes, but it also doesn't feel enough. It doesn't feel like enough feedback. I don't know what I expect from feedback. Whether because I'm such a perfectionist, even when they do give me feedback, I'm like, yes, but what needs to be better? What do I need to improve? Tell me what needs to change, and I would change it. But there doesn't necessarily need to be changed, but in my head there needs to be changes, so therefore, if they're not telling me what that is. Because it's not quite at the level one of my brothers did, where he read the book and then he's like, yeah, it's good. Luckily, Mum did give a little bit more than my brother did. I don't know what I'm expecting. I probably just need to find a professional, either agent or something, that will go chapter by chapter and tell me, like, I don't know. But you also get to a point where you've read the book 1,000 times, and so in your head you're like, but I also forget what I wrote. But it's also hard because I know details. Like, Mum was like, oh, I like this character, and I want to tell her about all the future plans for that character and how nuanced the little references are in the first book, but I haven't written the next books and I don't want to spoil it. I hold on to my little books because I want people to experience them in full without all the insider knowledge. But at the same time, sometimes I want to tell on the insider knowledge. Hello. Today is a pretty fun day in the Hannah household. I'm not going to show you it. I'll show you the edge. There we go. I have my manuscript here. Obviously this isn't manuscript, but this is. And so I printed it off for Mum to read through. So she's done her read through and marked a few things, but I am going through for a little edit. And after this, I'm going to let it go. Well, first I'm going to write it up. And then we're going to let it go because the perfectionist in me may never let it go, but I need to. And so I told my bestie, no, we're going to do these final edits, and then I'm going to either find an editor or something. So at the moment, I'm going through just removing words that really don't need to be there, or making sure sentences aren't clunky. As I say, I've been through this manuscript like 100 times. So through all the rewrites and additions, I've been through each draft many times, and every time I would write a chapter I would go back through the previous chapters. So it's time to take Elsa's advice and let it go. I've got a red pen to mark out words that I don't need, black pen to make adjustments, extra words or whatever I need in there, and some highlighters for entire bits that I need to change, or, you know, if I really like it, I don't know. I haven't decided, I haven't highlighted anything yet, so. But I have a little iced chocolate here, made myself, because, well, there's no cafe within the walking distance, so we've got to make it ourselves. Do I secretly envy the girlies that go, oh, I'm just going to go pop out, grab a coffee, walk down the street? A little, but does it save me money? Yes, so. So we can't really complain too much. Would I love to go to a cafe and just sit and do my little edits and stuff and feel really professional and like, I don't know, like I'm cool? Yes, but that's only because I think it. What if somebody asks what I'm doing and I'm like, hey, I'm actually just marking down final edits for my little book. Yeah, and then they'll ask, what's it about? And I'll be like, you'll have to read it. I'm so secretive, I will not even give you the genre. No. it's interesting what you think as an author and like what importance you add to little details as an author and what it's seen as a reader's point of view, because I'm going through timelines and how everything adds up and who's where when and all that, and Mum was like, yeah, but as a reader you don't really notice it, because as a writer I don't put that much detail. Like, I hint to it. There are moments where you can figure it out if you want, but most readers aren't going to be looking that closely at those tiny hints or details. And I was like, oh, you're right, I don't write in a style where you need to know the dates, but I have the rough month but no exact dates, but in my head I need to know the exact dates. But anyway, we're going to take my little manuscript and do some editing this morning. I'm really enjoying the fact that I've printed it out for Mum and get to write on the printed version, because sitting at my desk for hours on end is killer on my body. So this is actually much better. That was a little cockatoo. My bestie would be happy. Anyway, so we're gonna get down to work on this little editing endeavor. Okay, so over the past few days I have been doing a paper edit of my novel, the first one, and I've been having fun with the paper editing. I've decided on paper there's something different. There's something about a paper edit that is so different from a digital edit, and I think I prefer paper editing. Although when writing, I do mix it up. Like, I write on my notepad, but then I also do a lot of tippity-tapping as well. So I don't know. I think I'm a mix. I like a mix. I like all assorted versions of writing and editing. Anyway, so I've gone through it. There are a few, like, words here and there or extra phrases. I realized I use seemed a lot and just a lot. And one of the chapters, I think it's chapter 6, it has all the structure that is required. Some of the wording and dialogue do need a little bit of adjustment. So a lot of chapter 6 have like just green blocks where I'm like, you need to do something with this.
You need to stop all this.
What, you just pointed to all of me?
Yes, that's it. Stop being all of you.
So chapter 6 will be probably the most edited part that I have to do. But for the main portion of the book, there's just the odd word or, you know, rearranging a sentence so it's not quite as clunky. Of course, as I've been editing this book, I've been having ideas for the next book. So I'm actually really excited to get into the writing portion of book 2 once I finish this edit. I am going to send my book to my best friend after this final edit. And then we have to look into all the publishing, editors, agents, what I want to do in that aspect. But that seems a little too much energy for right now. So that will be New Year, Hannah. But for now, Hannah, she's just going to ignore that for now. So it may take me a few days to get the edits done on the digital version, just because it takes a lot of sitting down and writing at my computer. And my desk chair, while great, it's still too upright for a little, you know, chronic illness. So we shall see how many days it takes me to write up all these edits. And then because I do have chunks where I've just green highlighted it, that means I have to actually still put in the work of what makes this flow better, what's sentence restructuring, and all that. I wish when you were thinking about the words and sentences of your book, they went down on paper, because I would have so much more written if it was just whatever my brain thought in daydreaming went down onto paper. Because I restructure the sentences in my head. Like when I'm thinking about my books, I don't just have a blasé thing. I'm seeing the words, restructuring the sentences and everything in my head. That's why I am the kind of person I have to edit as I write. Because my brain automatically does it. When I'm thinking of the words and I'm in writer mode, I already have sentence structures floating around in there. And the way it's being said. The ones that are just like, get the words down on paper, don't edit, just get them down. I'm like, how do you not edit as you go? My brain automatically does that. It's like, how? Do you just put down your stream of consciousness? That would be my stream of consciousness, would be edited. Because I'm constantly reevaluating what I'm thinking. So that means we now have to adjourn to the office to get really concentrated in our efforts of editing down the final pieces before going to, editors and pitching and all that daunting stuff. Let's go. I have news. I have finished the final draft of my book, my first novel. My little child has grown up and is about to leave the nest. It needs to pack its things and get everything together, but ultimately, the bare bones, I have raised it to its point. I must admit, when I finished it, I got so teary. I was like, but these characters. And I know, because I want it to be a series, this isn't the end for those characters. But it is the end for now. And I'm going to miss them. For me, I get so attached to, like every character, if the character is named, just know, even if they have the tiniest role, I know some really detailed particulars about their lives and who they are that may or may not ever be seen, but I know their little lives. And so, even though I've just named this little character, I'm like, you won't be in the next book, but I'll love you and I'll miss you. So the next part of the process is to look at my options. I think I have a cousin, she writes romance books, and so I think she self-publishes, so I can talk to her. Or there's a family friend who I think was traditionally published, but don't quote me. And so I'm gonna ask them. I mean, sure, they don't write fantasies, but it's still just what their process looked like. And in the grand scheme of things, I think with the chronic illness that I have, if I was well, if I had all my health, I think I would have so much more handle on what I wanted to do. And because I would have more energy, I could do everything. But I also have to analyze that I can't do everything in the state I'm at. But there's pros and cons on both sides. But that's what I'm going to be doing in the new year. But I've sent off the final version to a couple of people, just so they can have a final read. Not that they're going to probably say anything majorly that needs to be changed. I just want their opinion to reinforce that, yes, it's good. But yeah, over the last week, I've been getting in and doing the write-up. There was a few scenes I had to add, a few words. I think we ended up at 110,000 words, the other draft was still like 109,700 and something, I think. So we haven't really added many words. I did cut out certain words and then I added in more, so it ended up rounding it up to the 110. And it's the same amount of pages it was before. But I knew I had to set a deadline to cut it off, because as I'm going through it, I'm constantly thinking and adding or editing, and you have to stop yourself at some point. And so I do believe this is a good stopping point. Like, cut it off, move on to the next step, which is of course deciding where it goes to get it out there. And now I can move on to another book of actually sitting down and writing without being distracted or being like, oh, I've got to go edit that little bit. And I am excited for the next book, but at the same time it's sad to let go of it. But for now, that ends this episode of Writing Nook, which was editing book 1. And so in the new year, I look forward to bringing you, hopefully, some more publishing side of the process, and writing book 2, and working on a different project that my best friend has sent me, and it's so daunting I have zero clue. But that's all for next year. So for now, thank you for watching this process. Let me know if you're writing your own things, where you are in your processes. If you want to, you can keep everything hush hush. We're only talking about, you know, the general processes here. And everyone works differently, so it's cool to find out. Until next time, peace!
ATINY 로그